From the outside looking in, people see me as successful. Even if they don't know me, they made that judgment based on the things I post on social media. They see me being a great family man to my wife, Caitlin, and to my daughters, Chloe and Kylie. And no, we are not the Kardashians. They see the fun family trips. They see that me and my daughter, Chloe, are authors. And they see the community impact I make by traveling to speak to schools and organizations. It's often assumed that successful people don't fail, and that's far from the truth. Many of the people that we admire the most have experienced some form of failure on their way to that journey of success. When we talk about failure, we usually imagine something loud, like a fall, a loss, a moment everyone can see. But failure isn't always loud. Sometimes it sounds like success, it looks like stability, and it feels like being practical. But deep down, it's settling. And settling doesn't break you all at once. It slowly convinces you that shrinking is a smart choice. You wake up to a life that looks fine on paper, but unsettled in your spirit. Nothing is technically wrong. You're surviving, you're responsible, you're doing what you're supposed to do, and yet something feels off. I call this the silence of settling. Settling isn't dramatic. It doesn't announce itself. It shows up in the dreams you delay and the ideas you talk yourself out of. We tell ourselves we're being practical, we're being patient, but the truth of the matter is, we're choosing to fear failure. And instead of risking failure, we risk something far worse. Never becoming who we were meant to be. There was a moment in my life I had a huge opportunity right in front of me, one that could have transformed my life to another level. I was invited to a conference to speak to over 700 people. Now, the amount of people, it didn't scare me, because I spoke in rooms that large before and did well. It was something a little bit deeper about this one. I talked myself into what sounded like a practical decision. So I told the organizer that I was too afraid. Well, I didn't say it like that. I said I needed to be more prepared, more flawless, and more ready before going in that room. I told her I was too sick, wink, to move forward with the engagement. The truth is, I was afraid. The truth is, I was stuck. The truth is, I felt like I wasn't ready. Now, after that, each practical and logical decision, it made me feel less and less. See, what I didn't realize is that the opportunity will rob me. Not just of that moment, but of myself. Each time after that, it was hard for me to make decisions. So much so that even simple decisions became heavy, because indecision felt safer than choosing. After all, if we never choose, how could we fail? How could we get it wrong? How could we disappoint anyone? That's when I realized something. Settling doesn't just silence dreams, it silences identity as well. We live in a world that teaches us that settling is the same thing as success. We're taught to minimize risk and to play it safe. But here's what I've learned. Failure gives you feedback. Settling gives you silence. Failure tells you what worked, what didn't, and what to adjust. Settling tells you nothing, except that you'll stop growing. As Zig Ziglar says, you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great. So what's the alternative? I'm glad you asked. I call it Brave Day. Have you ever heard of Yes Day? It's a day where adults say yes to their kids or their significant others. Yes to the fun place. Yes to their favorite food. Yes to the thing that they always wanted to do. Let me ask you a question. What if we created a day where we stop waiting for permission to others and start saying yes to ourselves? Yes to the vision. Yes to the application. Yes to the idea that's been sitting on the other side of fear. Not because success is guaranteed, but because growth requires movement. What if I told you that today was one of my brave days? Right after I got accepted to do this TEDx Talks, my wife had to have an unexpected surgery. She had to be off for 6 weeks and couldn't lift more than 5 pounds. Now, the thought of doing my duties plus my wife's duties made me want to go straight into my settling safety bubble. I thought about saying, I'll try on the next TEDx talk because it was extremely hard to mentally prepare. A few weeks in, I was looking for the genie in the bottle because surely she wasn't doing all these things on the to-do list by herself. But then I realized in that moment, it wasn't the extra responsibilities that I incurred that made me want to go into my settling safety bubble. It was fear trying to rob me once again. So I had a conversation with myself. I said, self, are we going to allow unfavorable circumstances to stop us from just making one brave decision? I know what you're thinking when you judge yourself. Yes, I replied back to myself. I realized in that moment that bravery isn't fake motivation, it isn't a personality. Bravery is when we decide to do it afraid. Unknowingly, I took myself through what became the Brave Day formula. I had to see it. I had to see that fear was trying to control my life again. I had to say it out loud to myself. I'm not shrinking anymore. I had to share it with my wife and with my therapist so that I could no longer isolate or hide like I've done in the past. And I had to do it. I had to prepare, lock in, and execute. See it, say it, share it, do it. Let me ask you something. What if bravery stopped becoming something that's rare and started being more rehearsed? Because Brave Day isn't just about you, it's about the environments we create. Imagine Brave Day in our homes, where failure was processed instead of being punished. Imagine Brave Day in our schools, where bold attempts was just as important as perfection. Now imagine Brave Day in our communities, where people start waiting to be chosen and start to choose themselves. Where we stop silencing new voices because they're not polished yet. Because here's what I believe. If we want braver people, we must create braver environments. And that starts when we stop treating fear like wisdom and start treating courage like a skill. Here's what I believe. If you would take one brave day, it'll transform your life. Take it not because you're feeling confident, not because you got it all together, but because you're tired of living your life in neutral. As Inky Johnson says, sometimes one small step in the right direction can be the biggest step of your life. Tiptoe if you must, but take the step. See it, say it, share it, do it. Have a brave day. Thank you.